Welcome to the podcast We Are Made for More with Meghan Alexander. In this podcast, we'll strive to inspire people around the world to become the best version of themselves by featuring guests with experiences and mindsets that demonstrate that we are all made for more.
Listen in to Meghan's first ever podcast episode as she talks with Jordan White, a successful fitness company owner and real estate entrepreneur on Long Island, New York. In this episode, they talk about Jordan's life philosophies, which have made him successful. You'll hear about things like there are no accidents and no coincidences, and don't be afraid to fail. Jordan talks about how you can be the guru in your life, but first, you have to have the belief on the inside.
Welcome to the show.
The first one.
The first one.
What are you going to call it?
Actually, it's so funny you say. I've spent hours thinking about it. I have a list like super long.
You're not going to use any of those?
I don't think I am. You know, one of the things my dad said to me when he was alive is, it'll come to you.
Yeah.
And this is going to be one of those moments.
That.
Do you?
I live like that, yeah. It'll work itself out.
It'll work
I'm not
itself
worried about
out.
it. The more you stress about it, the worse it'll be. The more you think about it, the harder it'll be. Even with exercise, when people are like, I'm like, the harder you think about it, the worse it's going to be. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
You can't force it.
Don't force it. Just do it.
Just do it.
You know what to do. I've shown you what to do. Just do it. And that's life.
And that's life. Well, we have a lot to talk about.
We do.
First of all, welcome. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank
Jordan
you.
White, everybody.
Yes.
We are going to spend the next amount of time catching up together a little bit. But like we just said, first show,
Yep.
You're my first guest.
This is awesome. I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you. And so am I. I've wanted to do this for about 5 years now, and it finally is happening. So I'm grateful that you're here first.
All right, great. Well, on Father's Day, what did we say? I want to do this. I want to do this. Just do it.
Just do it. What holds us back? And I'll tell you what. We started a profile, an Instagram page. Really, it's about, and this show is about inspiring people all over the world to be the best versions of themselves.
Perfect.
And through storytelling, best practices, learning from others who have succeeded, failed, succeeded, and that's what it's about. It's human connection.
I agree. I totally agree. That's great.
It is great.
Your failures are probably what's going to inspire people the most because people recognize it. And most people are scared to fail. They're, I don't want to mess this up. How do you know if you're going to mess it up?
Right.
And how do you even know what messing it up looks like? Just do it.
Just do it.
You'll figure it out as it goes. And if it's something that you've done or are wanting to do and you watch it and it doesn't quite give you the feeling that you wanted it to,
Right.
you get to do it again.
Exactly. Well, it's funny you say it sounds so. You make it sound so easy.
It is.
So share with us.
It's so simple.
What do you do? How do you get through those? Do you have those limiting beliefs ever in your head, or never?
Never.
Okay.
So there are fleeting moments where a little mustard seed of doubt for anything. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. That's literally my first and only thought. Nonsense. Just do it.
Where did you get that from? Did you grow up that way? Have you always been thinking
My
like that?
parents instilled a very good sense of self in me. Like I was always a pretty confident kid because when I was very young, I was always, if you could believe this, the shortest, fattest kid in the class.
No, I can't believe that.
Only till about fourth grade.
Okay.
But kindergarten to fourth grade is a pretty long time for a kid.
Right.
But my parents, like when I grew up, as it turns out, I didn't even know that we were pretty poor.
Okay.
But I didn't know that. My parents, they did a very good job of just normalizing our life. And especially I grew up in the 80s, so
Me too.
no one was really, I mean, the people that had a lot of money were few and far between, right? But we had a sense of community. So my parents always instilled in me the belief that I could do anything. And I saw my parents do things that, I mean, they created a great life for myself and my sister, right? Could do anything athletically and intelligently. Like with education, my mother was a huge believer in education. My father was a huge believer in hard work.
Okay.
So you put those together,
Right.
and you have pretty well-rounded. But like I was always exposed to things like I had a love for classical music when I was young. I used to do my homework. My parents used to take us to garage sales to find albums that they don't make them anymore. They were 78s. Okay. So we know goodness, 33s and 45s. Right. The 78s were a little bit thicker. And they came in these big, elaborate folders with like 2 or 3 of them. And it was like Chopin and Bach and Beethoven. But you couldn't find them in stores. You could only find them if people had them. So we would go to garage sales, or there was a place out east called like the Big Red Barn. And it was a secondhand store. Okay. So I grew up, spent a lot of time in secondhand stores, but I didn't know what they were. My sister explained it to me when I was older. Okay. Because we would go to this place and I'd be able to play with toys for hours, and we'd leave with shoes and clothes and furniture. Right. We're at the Salvation Army. Right. We're at the Big Red Barn. We were all these things. But my parents were still getting educated. So, and still growing, like economically, with educationally, they were still growing. So by the time I was probably in high school, we were okay. Right. But I didn't know that we weren't okay before that. Why? Because I had clothes. Yeah. I could do my homework. I had great grades. I played sports. No one cared. Right. And we had a sense of community. No one like made fun of us. There wasn't really bullying. Bullying was they took your money from lunch. It wasn't, well, look at your shoes. Nobody cared because everyone's shoes were messed up. Right. But my parents did a good job of instilling that in me. So it actually wasn't always a good thing though, because as I got older, I was in high school and college and even beyond, not that I didn't fail, I didn't really pay attention to that. And everything that happened to me, I thought was my doing. I always got accolades. I always did well. I always got the great grades, and I didn't study and this and that and the third. And I barely practiced, and I still did great in games. And I only practiced hard enough to beat the best guy. Like I never knew or cared about potential. I just wanted to win. Right. And I was blessed with a lot of gifts that in school I would win. I would literally do my homework, not study, get a 98 on the test. Wow. National Honor Society. All of these kids had tutors and this and that and everything. I had my friends. I wanted to hang out and read, and so I was naturally gifted. Okay. And I always just took it for granted. But when I got to college and then I had life experiences, and good and bad, it helped me to understand. But at the core of it was, if you don't do it, you'd get nothing. Right. Sounds like that was built in, like part of your you're growing up. It's definitely built in, but some of that had to come from you. You just said, like, I always thought it was my doing. I realize now I'm a conduit. There's nothing, I don't do anything. I'm literally a conduit. Whatever he, she, it you believe in spiritually works through me to spread messages, to give hope, to inspire, to help, to grab this when you can't. Like, I don't question inspiration. Okay. So if I'm in Costco and I see a lady pushing the cart and she's struggling, I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll push the cart. I'm not doing it for a thank you. I'm not doing it for anything. I'm doing it because something is saying, do it. Right. And I know it's right. So let's talk about that for a second, because I love that, first of all. And that is definitely part of what this show is about, right? The best version of yourself as a human being. Absolutely, we see that from time to time. But do you feel like every day, here we are, we're on Long Island, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Woo! Woohoo! Give it a shout out. But do you feel like you see that everywhere you go, or do you notice it few and far between? From others? Yeah, from others. I notice it. I look for it. But, so I'm not the griper. I really don't care. Negativity can't live around me. Okay. We'll get to this, but I'm going to tell you something about my philosophy on life. Okay. It's about negativity and positivity. I've been saying it for the better part of 10 years, and everyone that knows me well knows this phrase that I'm going to tell you. I'll get to that later. Okay. But I look for people doing the right thing. I look for a smile. I look for happiness, joy, positivity, and I find it often because I exude it. Right. I'm not the guy that complains about that guy cut me off or da-da-da. If someone cuts me off in the car, I let him go. You know why? He's obviously, or she's obviously got to get somewhere in a hurry. Right. And I'm in their way. Have at it. Yeah. And I don't wish anything bad on them. But sometimes if something bad happens because they were doing whatever, give me the finger. So be it.
Yeah.
It's not my problem. So I notice people doing good things and right things, and I look for inspiration. Maybe there's always more you can do. My favorite word in the English language, everyone that knows me well, is more. On my tombstone, I hope it's not for a long, long time, but it's actually going to say more and 3 dots.
I love it.
That's it. That's it. Because, and it's not about being greedy. It's not about, I want to make more money. I want to be able to spend more time. I want more cars, but I want more love, more happiness, more joy, more peace, more friends, more family, more. And if people, I believe personally, just my opinion, if people look for more in the good sense, A, they'll get more, but B, they'll also see what they have.
Absolutely. So you're talking, what I'm hearing you say too is law of attraction.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure.
And I'm sure the people that if they're listening to this, they know that that's definitely what I'm all about too, is putting out good energy. You're going to get good energy back.
A million times over.
Now, are people going to have a bad day? Absolutely. Around you? Of course.
No
you
bad
can't
days.
control that.
There are no bad days. You have bad moments and good days.
Okay.
Because if you woke up this morning, day's great.
Okay.
You won. Everything else is gravy.
Right.
All right, so you crashed your car, but you're alive.
Right.
Okay, so the stock market tanked, but you're alive. Your kids are good. Everyone's healthy.
Wow, what a mindset. If we could bottle it up and sell what you're talking about right now.
I give it away. I'm giving it away right now. Hopefully we'll give this away to millions, right?
That's right.
But the more people, I saw a movie years ago called Pay It Forward. It's not always about an action. Sometimes it's just about the love, inspiration. You know how many people I hug randomly in like the store? Why? I don't know. I'm supposed to do it. I read a book a long time ago called The Celestine Prophecy.
Oh my gosh.
Changed
Me too.
my life.
I was like 20 years old or something. Oh my gosh.
Totally changed my life.
Yeah.
Remember, there are no accidents, no coincidence, that conversation we had?
Yes.
That's where that stems from. Because that book, as well as the laws of attraction, as well as 5 love languages, as well as is it the 4 principles? Tom Brady? Another book that tells about all of these things. They put into words some of the things that your conscious, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, already knows. But when you hear it from someone else or someone that is regarded as a guru or an intellect,
Right.
it makes more sense. Sometimes it's already in your brain. You're the guru. You're the great intellect. You're the teacher. You're the yogi. You're the samurai. But we've got to have the belief in ourselves that we are.
There it is. It starts with belief. I know you say like, just do it.
Just do it.
Believe. I give it away
Within
for
reason.
free.
Within reason.
Yes.
Don't try to do a backflip off of the thing. Or when we're on the boat, don't try to do a backflip in water when you know your knees messed up.
That's right. Be smart.
Be smart. You got to be smart.
Be smart. But everything you're saying is so true, and that's why I'm getting goosebumps. But you're talking about yourself. It starts within, right? And
Totally.
There are people that, of course, I come across in life that don't have this mindset.
It's fine.
It absolutely is
It's
fine.
not even your job to change their mind.
It isn't, but I think there's people that are craving to understand how to feel that way, and that's why I wanted you here to talk with us
Thank
today.
you. I appreciate that. There are a lot of, everyone wants to be loved.
Yes, there it is.
And we're, as humans, we want to be part of a tribe, whatever tribe that is. The positivity tribe, the fitness tribe, the boating tribe, the
Right.
workers tribe. When you go to work, what do? Most times you find 1 or 2 people that you click with.
That's right.
You don't have to click with everyone, and you don't have to let everyone into your clique. So that's the other thing. Everything is not for everybody. I don't try to convince anyone of anything. If someone approaches me and they're being overly negative, I just keep feeding them positivity. One of 2 things is going to happen.
Right.
They're going to change their mindset, or they're going to get pissed off and walk away. Both of those are okay.
Right. You can't control people.
Both of those are okay.
Yeah.
And if they don't get pissed off and they walk away, I walk away. Not pissed off, but I walk away. I'll try. And the next time I see them, I'll be the same way. I'm consistent.
Right.
I believe everything. If you want to lose weight, you want to make money, you want to do anything, you've got to be consistent. And it's not ever not that it's not always, it's not ever easy. It's never easy, but it's simple.
I like the idea of simple. I'll tell you something for me, Jordan, is I'm an empath. And so for people that understand what it is to be an empath, we often hold on to other people's energy. And it's great when people are positive.
Right.
But when it is negative, it's almost like I feel it, I bring it on, and all these things come upon me that I almost can't control. And so I'm listening to what you're saying because you're like, oh, I don't need to change them. If they're not happy, they'll walk away. Sometimes that person will walk away, and
they leave it with you.
They leave it with me.
So you've got to, you don't have to, but you should try, in my opinion, to find a way to release that. I actually have a lot of friends, and ironically, most of the empaths that I know are very sensitive females.
There you go.
Smart and sensitive, right? Smart because they can see things, and it just goes with it. But sensitive, so they do hold on. Yes. And I've coached 2 or 3 to find some way to release, because it does happen. It used to happen to me. I'd never understood why, like after spending the day with whomever, I'd feel a sense of sorrow.
Right.
And my life is good. But it's because I didn't realize what was going on. So the fact that you realize it,
I do,
means that, okay, now I know it's there. What do I do with it? My opinion, I don't know for you, but find something. Could be music, could be a walk, could be a swim, could be exercise, could be a drive in the car. It could be knitting. It could be anything. Find a way to release it and find your inner peace and get centered again. Because if you're not centered, if let's say you come across 10 people in one day that are negative, that you care about, at the end of the day, you're not going to sleep well.
That's right. It drains you.
It's going to drain you.
Yeah.
So how can you just wake up tomorrow and start again? I never go to bed upset or angry, or because I'm still a human. So I have moments, and I'm a very high testosterone alpha male.
Right.
So my first instinct is, but I've learned through life experience, through study, through education, through meditation, through being loved and being coached and being mentored, I've learned how to get rid of it, channel it. That's why I lift the way I lift. It's why I do everything the way I do. I do everything all the way.
All the way.
My mentor, one of my mentors, his name is Mark. He said something to me that was so impactful. And I was a grown man already. It was 2012. And I showed up late for a meeting we had. And I couldn't understand. I was literally like 5 minutes late. It was no big deal. It was traffic. I didn't give myself enough time. I couldn't understand why he was so upset with me. And we had our meeting. It was very successful.
Okay.
And after we were fine, he said to me, I was very disappointed that you were late. He goes, you've never been late before. And I respect that. You respect your and my time. And I said, dude, of course I respect your time. And I started to say it wasn't my fault that I was late. But it was, because I didn't leave myself enough time. And one thing that Mark taught me was, I don't accept for bullshit. Yeah. I don't accept it. I don't accept nonsense. If you say something to me, I'm going to follow that thing up. If you say it wasn't my fault I was late, why didn't you leave earlier? Because there's an answer.
That's right.
There's always an answer. And people are like, oh, you got an answer for everything. There always is an answer. So I'll circle back. He said to me, the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Wow. Wow.
And I hear it in my head, in his voice still to this day.
Right.
So little things like if I'm at my house and I crumple a piece of paper and throw it in the garbage can and I miss it, your first thing is, oh, I'll get that in a minute. Nope. I put it in the garbage right now.
Right away.
Because the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
I love that one. I'm definitely going to keep that one.
Thank
you to Mark
stuck
for
with
that.
me, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, man, Mark Aranella, very successful businessman, but he's very meticulous. And he didn't even know he was my mentor. We had an open dialogue because we we taught each other a lot of things, but he was at a better station in life. One of the things I've learned is if you want to be like, find someone that you want to be like if you want to have money, find someone who has money and talk to them about how they did it.
Yes.
And then repeat their steps.
Yes.
You want to be in shape, find someone who's in shape, talk to them about how they did it and repeat their steps. So Mark taught me a lot of things just peripherally about how to be. And he didn't mean to tell me that to be my mantra. It was probably his, and he passed it. He paid it forward.
Paid it forward.
And I say, we talked about, we laughed, we joked. I use a lot of analogies and I have a lot of catchphrases and things like that, but it's about passing a message. So I hear his words saying it in a way that I'll never forget it.
Listen, Jordan, you make it, again, I'm going to say this again, you make it sound so easy. But I'm hearing all the things. I'm, taking little notes, and thank God we have this on record, because I'm going to play it back. And what a gift for everybody to be able to hear this kind of mindset and to hear how you put it into play. And one of the things you said was consistency. I hear that all the time in my life. And let's flash back for a moment, because how I met you was in the gym. And I was working out with another personal trainer, and I would see you working out with some other folks. And my first impression of you was I was scared.
Typically.
Do you get that a
For
lot?
those that don't see, I'm very, very large.
Large man.
I'm brown. I'm a big brown guy with dreads, tattoos, a big voice.
That's
I use my big voice quite often. I don't really have an inside voice.
Right. And you use it at the gym.
Everyone
And
gets scared
so I
until
would
you
watch
talk
and I'm
to me.
thinking, how do people, how are they working out like that? And he's pushing them. But then there came a moment where you invited me to the boot camp, and Jordan's boot camp right here in Huntington, New York. And I tried it, and I was scared to death because I was on a weight loss journey, and I was on a fitness journey, and it was fantastic, but I wasn't in the kind of shape that I would think I'd need to be in one of your classes. But
That you would think.
I would think. But you really make everybody in every class feel like they belong there.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter who it is.
So I could have a class of 50, and I want everyone to walk away feeling it was like it was them and I. That's been my goal since I started my personal trainer journey, because I've had multiple careers and I still do other businesses and things, but I get the most fulfillment. I check every box as a personal trainer because I put myself in it. But even before I invited you to the boot camp, I used to give you attaboys and acknowledge when you were working hard and acknowledge the changes I saw in you, not just in physically how you looked, but how you approached certain exercises. And if you were a little bit apprehensive, and I connected with you on that, and I know you were scared because when I first started talking to you were a little bit timid.
Yeah, I was a little timid.
But
I was.
from being around me.
Yeah.
You feel me.
Yes.
And that's what I want. When people are around me, if you see me across the room, you're going to have a totally different, especially in a trainer, in a gym.
Right.
I'm very intense about everything. But if I speak to you, or you speak to me, or you're just around me, you'll feel.
Absolutely. And energy. I do remember that. I'm glad you brought that up, because you're right. I'd be doing the sled. The sled is like, push. I don't know. How would you explain the sled? For those
It's
that
a
don't know.
Rogue sled. It's 45 pounds. You put stacked plates on top of it and you push it. If you think about going into your driveway or a parking lot and pushing your car, that's what the sled is like.
That's the sled. It's the first time I ever felt like a football player. But but I remember I'd be doing
So
it.
empowering, though.
And you would say, you're right, you would give you the attaboy, but then I remember one day you said, I think you could put another 25 on there. And I'm like, you think so? You're right, that was my...
And I
like,
put it on.
Yes.
Whether you said you thought
God.
or not, I put it on. I remember.
That's right. So
And guess what?
I did it.
You got it done.
I did it.
And it was empowering. And that moment of realization, look, I'm getting the chills.
I know, me too. I'm feeling it up here.
That moment of realization in you is, because you would have never, if you would have thought about it, it would have been really difficult.
Yeah.
But I gave you the confidence to do it.
You did.
But I knew you could. And I know deep down, you knew you could. But someone has to get you there.
Right.
Most people, and I read this statistic probably 15 years ago, most people don't reach their own success because of naysayers, the thoughts that they put in, and their own insecurity. But that insecurity comes from your upbringing,
Yes.
from what you see on today's social media, news, and from the naysayers. When I do something, I'll share this. When I do something, anything, I'll never tell you what I'm going to do. I tell you what I did.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want your opinion. I don't want your positive or negative.
Okay.
Because if I feel that I could do it,
Yeah.
I don't want anything to rattle that.
Well, you're very in touch with your inner self.
Yes.
I mean, this is crystal
My
clear
mother
to
was
me.
a psychologist. So I've been psychoanalyzed since I'm 3.
Oh, wow.
So that's why
I
I
love
approach
it.
every conversation. So the dichotomy, my mother was both a psychologist and a Baptist Christian reverend.
Oh, wow.
So I had everything.
What a great combination.
Science and
Faith.
when they were at odds.
Wow.
So I was very well rounded, but I am very in touch. I am not in any way, shape, or form delusional about me.
Okay. You know what your inner gifts are. You know what your gifts are. Excuse me.
I believe I know some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are untapped. I don't take any of them for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm appreciative, but again, that comes through life experience.
Right.
That comes through good things, bad things happening in life, good experiences, bad experiences, making contact with people and having them be warm to you or not, or taking advantage. There's a lot of things that brought me to be Jordan White today.
How does faith play into it for you? You just
Well,
talked
I'm
about
a
your mom.
Rastafarian now. I was baptized as a Rastafarian in 2008.
Okay.
We follow the tenets. It's very close to Judaism.
Okay.
We follow most of the tenets of Judaism because Rastology was born out of Judaism.
I'm not. Of course, I've heard of it, but I don't know.
Most
the
people think
tenets of it.
Rasta just a Jamaican guy who smokes a lot of weed, but that's not it. There's actually a religion, a faith behind it. So the Queen of Sheba had a kid with the King Solomon. So they were very much in love. Queen of Sheba was in Israel, got pregnant, had a kid, but had to go back and run Ethiopia. That was her kingdom.
Okay.
So when she left, she wanted their child, Menelik II, to be brought up in his father's faith, who was Jewish.
Okay.
He was one of the original, Solomon, David, one of
Right.
the original. So in order to be a full-fledged Jewish person, you have to have spoken and written texts. Can't send the scrolls back to Ethiopia. They belong here.
Right.
So you send wise men, so it was spoken. So when Queen of Sheba went back and raised her son, Menelik II, as a Jew, he's not really a man of tribe, he's not really a Jew, but follows all the Jewish tenets, right?
Okay.
So Rastology was born out of that because His Majesty Emperor Ali Selassie I is the 225th descendant. He was the Imperial Emperor of Ethiopia, 225th blood descendant of King Solomon. So
Wow, you know your history.
I'm
Listen
a
to this, history
research
buff.
monkey. Yeah,
Yes.
I am a history buff. I'm an everything buff.
Okay.
I read everything. I listen
Like
to
I can't
everything.
believe the detail that you know about this.
If I'm walking around saying that I believe in this and I
Yeah.
practice this
Yeah.
and I spread this and I want people to look at me and see a certain thing and understand a certain thing, I've got to have my stuff together. I need to know what I'm talking about, because as soon as you the guy
Right.
I lost you.
That's true.
So you need to be articulate in explaining what you walk around saying that you believe.
Right. So to flash forward a little bit, you know a lot about the faith.
I do.
Is that a big part of who you are as well in terms of how you process things? The spirituality side of it is really where I'm going with it.
So that's something that I deal with on a daily basis, right? Because as I explained, my mother was a Baptist Christian reverend.
Right.
I grew up in the church. So spirituality and religion has been a part of my life literally from birth. But religion, most people don't understand, it's just a man-made set of rules.
It's a man. I
to make you fall in line and be more compliant but the tenets are supposed to get you to be more spiritual, to live a better life and be able to be a good person, have clean hands and a pure heart.
Thank you for honing that question for me too. Like that's exactly where I was going with it.
Yeah.
Like the spiritual side of
Spirituality is undeniable.
Yeah.
But so for me, I was actually put off by the Christian church when I was younger because I saw a lot of things that they just didn't add up. Like you're claiming to be this, you're claiming to be that, but you're doing this on Friday.
I hear you.
Not knocking, but
I hear you.
Catholics and this is supposed to be the holiest man, and he does this, and you still allow him. That doesn't jive. Mm-hmm. But spirituality, we all feel. Again, a lot of things goes to feel.
Right.
So I do believe that you need to find a religion. My mother was on a spiritual journey her whole life, and I thought I wasn't, but turns out I was until I found Rastology, and it was introduced to me. Crazy. But it's also, as a Caribbean man, it speaks to my heritage. So that tribe.
Okay, that's where tribe comes in for you.
Right. So, but spirituality, everything for me starts with feel.
Okay.
You could tell me anything. Mm-hmm. You could look me in the eyes and tell me nonsense. I could feel your nonsense.
Right.
And I don't have to tell you you're telling me nonsense. I could, okay.
Yeah, you get it. It's a feeling, and
then move on.
You know the energy. You know the
Right. And it never. You ever have? I had a feeling I shouldn't have done this, but you did it and you messed up.
Right.
That feeling is what I call your God conscience. Mm-hmm. It will never steer you wrong. So that's spirituality, energy. We all feel it.
Spirit, energy, absolutely.
Whatever he, she, it, you want to put a name to it, it's spirituality.
Absolutely. So you talked about naysayers. One of the reasons I didn't do this podcast up till now is truly because I do sometimes have those limited beliefs in my head. I do have that. I don't know if it's myself talking or I'm hearing the naysayers talking in my head, waiting for the people to
Could be a bit of both.
See me fail. You mentioned before, some of people are built because of their upbringing. I think in my upbringing it happened, whether it was being teased at school or whatever those things were in my childhood that made me afraid to fail. And meanwhile, of course, I failed at a lot of things in life, but I have that bit of a perfectionist side to me.
I have OCD like nobody's business.
And that's not a bad thing.
But you fail forward.
But yeah, you do.
Gotta learn.
I just think, how do you learn to kind of tune out the naysayers? And I just read recently, I should already know this, but I did read that you're not going to please 50% of the people. 50% are
please 80%
well,
of the
maybe
people.
It's even more. Maybe it is even more. But there's always going to be a huge split.
Has to be.
Yeah,
there has to be.
There's almost 8 billion people in the world.
There has to be. You put 10 people in a room and say, what do you want for dinner?
Right.
You're going to get probably 8.5 different answers.
That's so true. So what advice do you have for people that, like myself, want to please everybody?
Don't.
You can't.
Don't.
Yeah.
I don't give advice. I only give my opinion. But don't.
Okay.
Don't. If you ask me my opinion, I'll tell you.
Don't.
But I don't give people advice because if I say do this and it fails,
yeah,
I told you. You did it because I said. I'll give you my opinion and tell you if I believe in you so that you do it. So that if you fail, it's not someone else's fault. Everyone's always looking to place blame. 3 things I teach my son.
Okay.
And that's, if I, knock wood, don't, but if I die tomorrow, the message I want to spread, accountability, no matter what you do, take responsibility for it. Good, better, and different. I did it. What do we do now? Because in most things, if you communicate, you can get through or get past. Because all it's going to do is hurt someone's feelings or break something. Things can be fixed. As long as everyone's still breathing, things can be fixed. Number 2, have respect for yourself and others. And you respect everyone until they take it away from themselves. And then you just don't deal with them. Number 3, don't be a dick.
There you go.
It's really, really easy to just not be a dick.
Right.
Just don't do it. Even if someone is getting your goat, it's all right.
It's all right. Let it deflect.
Don't absorb it and return it.
That's right.
It's very easy to turn and walk away. And most people, that hurts them more. If they're rah, 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 you just walk away.
Yeah. These are things, of course, I try and tell my kids all the time.
Yeah.
But,
It's hard. People have emotions. We're humans. We have emotions.
Exactly. And I just fortunately got to meet your son, Devin. It was wonderful. By the way,
Isn't he awesome?
It was on Father's Day.
He's awesome.
Amazing. What an amazing young man.
I'm so blessed. It's crazy. It's crazy how amazing. So I can't believe I've been given charge over this angel. Seriously. Mm-hmm. So I'm a firm believer that our kids are given to us the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
All we could do is mess them up.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
And I don't feel like we've messed them up.
Okay.
And it's like, because he's such a good human being. My son, you felt it, right?
Yes, I
when
felt
you're around him, he's so, oh my God, he's the best part of myself and his mother. That's it. All of our garbage we kept.
Yeah.
He's the best part of all of us, of both of us. It's unbelievable. Back to how you get the naysayers out.
Yeah.
You've got to, you should hear all the mantras that you've said. Mm-hmm. Like you can't please everyone. How do you please everyone? Know that you can't.
Right.
The end. How do you keep pressing forward? Know that you have to. There's no option. Whatever inspires you. When I'm in the gym, I go to several different gyms. When I'm in the gym, I'll look around at someone, not many people, but some people are bigger and stronger than me, right? I try to go to gyms where people are bigger and stronger.
There's people stronger and bigger than you.
Wait, I try to go to places where people are bigger and stronger. And my competitive nature, you think I can't do this?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and I always feel, excuse me, when you said people are waiting for you to fail, I always feel like someone's watching me, waiting for me to skip a rep, waiting for me to skip an exercise, to not do it. So I do it. I make sure I do it or do more so that no one, in my own head, I know it's in my own head, it's not real, but so that no one can ever say, I knew it.
Does a rep ever get hard for you, Jordan?
Every single rep is hard.
Okay.
We're not, I read a book 2019? Yeah, just before COVID, called The Comfort Crisis.
Okay. Oh boy, this sounds like a good one. Put on my list.
Such a good one. We do everything to be comfortable.
Yes, we do.
Sneakers, cushions, pillows. He was a pillow guy. Bed, everything's about being comfortable.
Right.
When you get out of your comfort zone, that's when good things happen. You grow. I started to say this, but I didn't say it before. Most people are not successful because they're afraid to fail.
Right.
Wherever that comes from. Failing sucks.
Right.
That's why we shouldn't be giving our kids all these participation trophies. You need, and I don't say need often, but I will here, you need to understand what it feels like to lose, to get beaten, to get, maybe not physically, but your feelings hurt. Why? Because it's the worst feeling in the world, and you'll live your life trying not to get it. And if you have the right mentors and motivation and people telling you and pushing you, you won't not do it. You'll do things differently.
Right.
There is so much value in the education of losing. That's why I love wrestling for young men.
Okay.
Wrestling. You can't blame the offensive tackle for missing the block.
Right.
You can't blame the outfielder for missing the catch. You can't blame the power forward for missing the rebound. It's you
one-on-one.
And I, and who's more prepared, who's more determined, and who's got more fight in them.
Right.
And it's okay to not win.
Absolutely.
It's okay to not win. You can't win everything.
You can't win everything.
If you don't know if you win everything, you don't know how to deal. You'll implode if you lose.
We are in a society, though, you're right, where we do want to give the kids the participation trophy. It's a really good analogy.
Nope. When I was coaching my son's basketball team, he was 7 or 8. And at the end of the season, we did great for the season. We made it to the playoffs. And for some reason, we just stunk in the playoffs. And we came in 5th. And they gave us trophies. So I let everyone take their picture. I gave the trophies. I didn't give the trophies. The guy gave the trophies. I let everyone take the picture. And I had a box at the door when we were leaving. And I told every kid, put the trophy in the box.
Really?
Put the trophy in the box. There were 11 kids. put the trophy in the box, put the trophy in the box, put the trophy in the box. I was standing outside the gym door. It was at Longwood Middle School. And I threw that box in the dumpster. And I said, you guys had a great season, but today, none of you showed up.
Okay.
You got to explain. I got down to my knee.
I was
going to
say, how did they take that?
I said, none of you showed up. So we don't deserve trophies. We came in 5th place. You don't get a trophy for 5th place. I know that's how the school district and maybe your parents are raising you, but I'm a part of this. So if my name is on as a head coach, that's not happening. I looked at my assistant coach's name is Paul Fernandez. I said, Paul, do you agree? He goes, absolutely. Some of the kids cried. Some of the parents were pissed off, sent emails and this and that and third. They don't want me coaching. No problem. I don't have to.
Right.
But I personally will not be a part of that. And I have some of those kids are just graduated this past weekend with my son. And Paul's son Manny came up and gave me a big hug. And he talked about that day.
Did he
because
really?
Manny's going on to go to college and it's graphic design and da-da-da. He's doing good.
What'd
But
he say?
remembers. He remembers. He remembers, which meant that at least one person was impacted by what I did and now has moved on to do great things.
And I'm sure it's more than that because people don't always come back and tell us.
Yeah,
as
for sure.
human beings,
And it's
but
okay. I don't do
okay.
it for that.
Exactly.
So if I told a woman yesterday, what's it, Wednesday, and she was wearing something, smelled awesome. I'm like, you smell amazing.
Right.
She lit up.
Because you made her feel good.
I kept going because
Yeah.
I just wanted her to know she smelled amazing. But guess what? She lit up. So I know the rest of her day was great.
Yes. I love it, Jordan. I love your energy. I love this conversation.
Yeah, me too. It's great.
I know we're getting close to wrapping up, but something you said earlier, you said, I'm going to tell you my quote on negativity and positivity.
Awesome. I'm
Got
glad
to
we
come
came
back to that.
So I consider myself like a candle, right? If you take a box and it's dark in that box and you light a candle, darkness can't live around that flame, right?
Right.
So if I light your flame, darkness can't live around our flame. If you light his flame, darkness can't live around those flames. And if we just keep lighting flames, and that flame is positivity, love, cherishment, being able to communication, everything, eventually, if all the candles are lit, there's no more darkness.
Right. That's beautiful. I love it. Let's light each other's candles up.
Just light
right?
each other's candles.
Light each other's candles.
Make everyone feel good.
I love it. I hope everybody felt the energy in this. Before we close, I just want to say, we talked about my fitness journey and how you helped me last year. And it's funny because different things, life creeps back in a little bit, and I was still working out, but I wasn't doing the 5 days a week and all of these things. And that happens for people.
It's ebbs and flows.
Some injuries took place and all different things. And then a few weeks ago, I ran into you and I'd been thinking I needed to go back and take your class again, and I couldn't figure out how I was going to do that. And here you pull up, and I'll just say we were on boats.
It was so
and we're out in the
funny.
middle of the water,
Ridiculous.
unplanned.
Yep.
And here comes, you're on a boat waving to me. I'm like, oh my God,
Yep.
I haven't seen. And you get on the boat that I was on, and I said, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to reach out to you. And what did you say to me?
Why didn't you?
Yeah, right.
Why didn't you?
That's right.
I'm right here, right now. So the more if you work it hard, it'll be easy. If you work it easy, it'll be hard. The more we get in our own way, the more we question, just do it. If you would have called me and I would have said, nah, I didn't like that you left,
Right.
that makes me a jerk. And you don't want to be around me anyway.
Right.
But you knew that wouldn't happen anyway.
I knew it wouldn't happen
You get inside your own head and,
That's right.
what if I can't do this? Or what if I can't do that?
Right.
I'm always going to make you feel like you can. And the other
That's
part
right.
is I'm never going to put you in a position to fail. I will never put you in a position to fail. Right? So
That is
we
true.
talked about failing in life, but in fitness, I can't have you fail, which is why you said before, everyone feels like, I'm with them, even if there's a couple of people, because if I can't make you understand and feel like you can do it and like it's actually pretty easy,
Yeah.
how can you believe that you can do it?
That's right. You definitely have that. Trust me. You have that like I've never seen before. And one other thing you said to me, and I want to make sure everybody knows this, is you looked at me and you also said, there's no accidents and there's no coincidences.
None.
And it went right through my heart, and I knew it in that moment. that a power greater than ourselves had put us together that day, not just for fitness, but also for this moment and for life. And
you don't know
I'm so grateful.
Yeah, me too. I'm very blessed and very honored that you even thought about me to do this and asked me to do this. And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you
for actually doing it.
Thank you.
Seriously, it takes way more. 5 years you've been sitting on it.
That's right.
And here we are.
Here we are. We did it. So thank you. Thanks,
My
audience,
pleasure.
for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
I hope a lot of people get to hear this. But
I hope one person, if you get one person to get something out of it, it doesn't matter. We don't care about likes. We don't care about. Take something out of it that you can keep with you forever. And if it makes your today or tomorrow better, it's a win.
Love it. And on that note, we'll say pay it forward and peace out.
Baby.
Thank you. All right.
This was awesome.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, bookmark this podcast and follow Meghan on Instagram. Okay, now for the disclaimer. This podcast is solely for educational and entertainment purposes. Meghan is not a licensed therapist, and this podcast is not intended as a substitute for a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified profession. Goodbye, everybody.